Yeah. So I knew, for example, that I needed protein, but for me that was just like adding chickpeas to my curry. It wasn't like as structured um, as you taught me. You just bridge that gap between the whole food plant-based world, where protein is a bit of a, you know, topic that is just looked at as not important,
Yeah.
and the fitness world where maybe it's like, if you don't eat steak 3 times a day, why do you even come to a gym, kind of thing. And you hit that middle point there where like it's in between the two, because I do want to be eating healthy for like the micronutrients, plus I love that food now, like that's just how I eat. It's how I've done it for a long time, but also kind of like paying attention a little bit, like to make it gym friendly.
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now, I know I have the same hairdo in the last video, but I promise this is a completely different day. Or is it? Anyway, you guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Rose. I am an online health and fitness coach for women. I have an online program that will help you learn how to achieve and maintain your dream plant-based body forever, because the diet industry likes to tell us that we have to restrict, and dieting has to be super, super painful, but it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. So apply below if you are interested. Now, I have an amazing testimonial for you guys, and I also am going to show you how I make my date sweetened desserts. So stick around if any of those subjects interest you. We're going to hear from Fanny, and then we're going to be right back. I am here with Fanny. She is all the way in Switzerland, and I just need to say, Fanny, you were my first client from YouTube. And when you wrote a comment on one of my videos, and I was sitting right here in my room, and I read this comment, and I said, wow, a random stranger told me that I was funny, and you gave me the nicest compliment, just like that there's a need for me out there. And seriously, like, honestly, I did cry when I read that, because I was like, someone's actually like getting value from whatever I'm doing. So I just feel like I'm just throwing stuff out there. So thank you for finding me, and thank you so much for reaching out.
Yeah, thank you. It's true. I completely forgot, now that you said it, that this is how we met. I was just browsing on YouTube, was desperate to find like good vegan fitness content. And then I was like, here she is, hidden somewhere on YouTube. And it was just really good to see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that seriously warms my heart, and you're my first YouTube client, so super excited just to hear about, your journey. But yeah, open it up. Tell us like a little bit about yourself and what your fitness and nutrition routine was like prior to finding me on YouTube.
Yeah. So I think I'm a relatively healthy person. I'm always inclined to, eat whole food, plant-based. I've been like on and off it, but generally in the past years, I've been eating quite, yeah, I'd say a healthy whole food diet. And I was relatively active. Like I discovered the gym maybe a year or two ago now. And yeah, I did do exercise in the gym. And then I did check my progress also with these devices that you can get at the gym at like body fat percentage and lean muscle mass and all these things. And I just wasn't making a whole lot of progress, doing the right things. So I was just in need of desperate advice, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. You knew what to eat for health. You knew you had to lift, but you didn't have the structure.
exactly. Yeah. So I knew, for example, that I needed protein, but for me that was just like adding chickpeas to my curry. It wasn't like as structured um, as you taught me. So yeah, that was the main difference, I think.
Exactly. Perfect. And then what would you say was your biggest accomplishment in the program?
I mean, the biggest eye opener for me was definitely, mm, first of all, the mindset around like tracking, having aesthetic goals, things like that. I had a very negative image of that. Had a negative image of tracking calories or macros. I thought this was like a bad thing to do, and we should just all be eating, intuitively. And same with having aesthetic goals. I had mixed feelings about it. And I think you really took that away from me, because I just saw how useful tracking was for me, and how it wasn't emotional, it wasn't weird, I wasn't like sticking to it 100%. I really learned how to deal with it. And for me, this is such an important tool. And I just wish that I had known this earlier, how helpful it is to track for a while. And you don't have to do it forever. You don't have to do it super consistently every day over years. But for me, if I hadn't done that, I don't think I would have gotten any of the results that I really wanted to have. And then for the aesthetic goals, like I was always like, is it I'm going to do fitness for health? And of course, that's still a really main component. But in the end, seeing results and seeing yourself progress and seeing that on your body that you're getting stronger, it is motivating. And it's fine to find that motivating as well. I think it's really important that we don't judge that. And I think for me, it was just nice to be in a community of people who cared about these kind of things as well, without like assigning any judgment to it. So I think the community of it is also very supportive and nice. And it's nice to see like-minded people doing the same thing as you. So I think that's where the Facebook group is important. And so those for me are the 2 wins in mindset. And then I don't know, I guess the other one is just that now I'm set up for life. Like now I just know what I want to do. I'm loving going to the gym. I know how to do my workouts. I know what to eat. I'm enjoying it. It's not complicated. But I honestly wouldn't have known how to do this without the program. So yeah.
No, I love everything that you touched upon. I love that now you know more information about yourself, and with the macro tracking, it's like you can see it how you feel on X amount of calories, if you had more fat during the day, if you had more carbs, then you can use that now in the future to eat intuitively, and you're actually eating intuitively, basing it off of something and not just basing it off of just, I don't know, just put more chickpeas in, like, see how that goes. It's like, no, like, I was more active today. I need to eat this much more.
Exactly. I think it also for me, so after a period of fat loss, right, I transitioned back. And then now I just have zero thoughts about like, did I eat too much? Is this healthy? Is this okay for me to like eat this now or enjoy this? I don't really think about that anymore. And I think many, many women, maybe men as well, but the women I've talked to like really think about that. And we have this image that we should like just be, eating lettuce leaves for our whole lives. But actually, if you want to see results in the gym, you just need to be like eating properly, even after like I'm through the phase of fat loss. So now I just need to be eating quite a lot actually. And I'm just, not hungry, and I'm not starving myself. I'm not making thoughts about whether, I'm overeating or undereating, because I know what my body needs.
Exactly.
That's really important, I think.
Totally. And that is what I want everyone to get out of the program, is just the knowledge. And I really feel like tracking and knowing and gaining that knowledge helps you be less stressed when you're in situations, and just less stress in general, like you said, because it's like the diet industry likes to tell women to restrict. But, it's like if you're trying to build muscle now, like you have to eat. And when you have the right kinds of foods on your plate with that protein, it's like it directly translates to how well you perform and the energy.
Absolutely. I mean, they say I always heard that nutrition is very important. But I thought that meant like whole food plant-based would cover that, right? I really thought so. And I think you just bridge that gap between the whole food plant-based world, where protein is a bit of a, topic that is just looked at as not important, and the fitness world, where maybe it's like, if you don't eat steak 3 times a day, why do you even come to a gym kind of thing? and you hit that middle point there where like it's in between the two, you know, because I do want to be eating healthy for like the micronutrients, plus I love that food now, like that's just how I eat. It's how I've done it for a long time, but also kind of like paying attention a little bit, like to make it gym friendly, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I felt too, going whole food plant-based. It's like they always say, if you're eating enough calories, you're getting enough protein. First of all, how do you know how many calories you need to be eating if you don't track macros? And you really can't eat intuitively if you have an aesthetic goal. And it's okay to have aesthetic goals. It really is. It's like we have one life, one body, and it's if you want to put big biceps on, like you can have that. Like who cares? And you know, if you try to just do it whole food plant-based and eat as many like that's very ambiguous and it doesn't translate. So merging it to both sides, it's like the macros, we want to fill our macros with the wholesome foods, but we just have to tweak it a little bit. And we can still be healthy in the whole food plant-based world and just have the macro portion size focused.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also means that you don't have to eat like 100% clean, right? Like
Exactly.
I have like sweets once in a while, or like I just don't make thoughts about it. I'm really just like, you know, it doesn't have to be like 100% this, 100% that. There is like room for, you know, just eating whatever you feel like in a way, but then knowing in the back of your head what is like good for you, I guess.
Exactly. And it's like once you realize that you can have whatever, even oil, I feel like that's something that people in the whole food plant-based world just have this fear around it. But it's like not everyone has to be oil free. That's a choice. And if you're understanding the macros, you can understand like if you want to fit in a half a cup of oil every single day, like you can.
You can.
You can. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather eat like peanut butter and avocados and stuff, but you can if that's what you're into, right? If olive oil is your jam, then you can totally go for that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's like once you kind of merge both of it together, like whole food, plant-based, and then macros, it's like, first of all, like you understand, like you were saying, you can have the sweets and the chocolate when you want, but your body does prefer, like what you said, coming back from vacation, you wanted your own food. Like
Yeah.
your body prefers the healthy stuff that you eat every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. And that said, I think what is healthy is also what you like, your mindset around it is like as important as the actual food. Like if you hate a food and you just like eat it because you think it's good for you, it's just not going to cut it, right? And I think what you teach as well is that you have the framework and you can fit it in, right? Either you can like follow the recipes which you provide, which are really good, by the way. Your ice cream just changed my life. But then you can also just do your own thing, right? And it's not going to be healthy if like you tell yourself that you can eat like, you know, 3 chickpeas for breakfast, 3 lettuce leaves for lunch, and then like, you know, a cup of water for dinner kind of thing. Like you see crazy stuff that people do to themselves. It's just unnecessary, right? You can be healthy and, you know, get on with other things in your life that are much more important than food.
Oh yeah.
If you have that knowledge.
Exactly. It's like, why spend time just stressing and worrying when you just have the knowledge and now you just know for the rest of your life that you can have balance and you don't have to stress about it.
Yeah, for me, this is the main thing. Yeah.
You don't have time to stress. You're a busy girl.
Exactly. I just want to enjoy life.
And then final question, Fanny, what would you tell someone who's on the fence about joining the program?
So I think it's everyone's personal choice, but I can just say for me that it was worth it. And it was definitely an investment. It wasn't something that I just did like that, right? But because it was an investment, it was also, for me, easier to commit to. I just needed that accountability as well. I needed the knowledge that you provided me with. Like I had absolute, like I thought I was doing things fine, and it's just like little tweaks, really. It's not, but so many of them, right? Like now I go to the gym, I think of the stuff, the little things that you told me about form, for example, like how I place my upper body when I'm doing lower body exercise, like all these kind of small things. And same around the macros, like I understand now what the different protein sources are and like how I can combine them with the other macronutrients to make a meal that makes sense and is delicious.
Exactly.
And I really, really needed that knowledge. I'm very, very happy with the results I got. I'm very happy to like finally be like strong and not just like a little stick.
Yeah.
So for me, it was definitely worth it. So if you're on the fence about it, just, you know, ask yourself if you have the you know, if you can invest that time, because it definitely takes time. You definitely have to be patient with yourself. For me, it was 100% worth it. And Rose is just an amazing coach. Like, you're just really great in the way that you really balance the, you know when to like push, and you know when to hold people back and be like, hey, you're doing fine, it's fine, like just be patient and
Or
progress
eat
will be
more.
there. Yeah, you just hit the spot there, and I think that's really important as well. So to me, it's so much better to do this all with a coach. I really believe like you can like learn things from other people much better than over, the internet or by yourself. I really think like, learning from other people and from like teachers like you is just so important, and you just add a lot of value. So
Aw.
I would say do it.
Do it. Yay. Fanny, thank you so much. That was so
You're very welcome.
And I'm excited to keep seeing you progress, and watch out, YouTube world, because you might be the next vegan fitness sensation. I am just putting my passion into the world, not knowing if it's going to reach anyone, and the fact that it reached someone all the way overseas in Switzerland was just insane to me. But I'm so happy that you got so much out of the program. You put on 1.5 kilos of lean muscle, you lost 5.5 kilos of fat, and now you just know how to lift. By the end of the program, she was writing her own workouts, and they were really, really good, actually. So you know how to eat for fitness goals. You were plant-based vegan before. We just tweaked you a little bit, and you're super, super active, and now you just have so much muscle, and I'm so looking forward to just watching you further blossom into plant-strong beast. Okay. So now, since you guys are here, I figured I would just show you how I make my date sweetened desserts. So the key to having a healthy lifestyle, a healthy diet, maintaining weight loss, and just being healthy forever is finding alternatives to things that are super high in calorie or hyper palatable, whatnot. So that's the beauty of, when you go vegan, especially now, there is so much stuff out there to kind of help support that, where you don't feel like you have to give everything up if you're coming from a background of just really having meat and dairy as a part of your culture. So you could take it one step further and then just really make your favorite things whole food plant-based. So some of that is going to be, eating cashew cheese or saying tofu is eggs, but with desserts, you can honestly please anyone with a date sweetened oil-free dessert. So what I do is I make date paste. So I take medjool dates, which are a dried fruit, and I blend them with hot water. So I do 1 cup of hot water to about 10 or 11 medjool dates. And then it makes this sticky paste. So this paste can stay in the fridge for up to a month, and it's really, really versatile. You can put it in salad dressings. I use it just in place of maple syrup or any type of sugar or sweetener. It is a little, gritty, so if you put it in your coffee, like, you might taste it, but if you put it in a smoothie or in a dressing or in a dessert, it's just gonna taste sweet and not really like the fruit itself. I honestly don't like eating dates by themselves. I find I just need to make them into dessert. So I have my date paste, and then I always pair the date paste with nut butter, and that is really what can be used in place of oil. So the combination of the date paste and the nut butter, that is really good. It tastes like a caramel. So whenever I make my granola, whenever I make cheesecake, my new obsession, my sweet potato pudding, anything like that, I use date paste, and then adding the nut butter to it will just replace that oil. So now you have a delicious dessert that is full of antioxidants and not full of refined sugars. However, I do need to give a warning that when I went plant-based, I was just eating these date ball things up the wazoo. I thought I was eating healthy because I'm like, oh wow, I'm eating like no refined sugar, I'm eating no oil, I'm eating just fruit, but there is too much of a good thing, and that is why macros and portion sizes are important if you want to work for a certain body composition. So that is what I'm going to teach you in my program, is just how to actually make these delicious alternatives, but how to fit them in and how to have them in moderation and how to allow for protein in your diet as well. So my last tip for you guys is always put your desserts in the freezer, because if you leave them out on the counter, on the table, you're gonna see them every time you walk into the kitchen. You're gonna take a sliver and you're gonna eat when you're not really hungry. So put them in the freezer, have them for dessert, put them back, and just give yourself the environment that you need to thrive in. Now, check out my meal plans below because I have a bunch of date sweetened recipes in there, and let me know if you want me to do actual recipe videos and what you want to see. All right, you guys, everyone, leave a comment for Fanny and tell her she's a rock star.